goes. Let's do this. Facebook is good. And then Twitter. All right. Let's get the recording software and we'll be set. Almost there. The windows all straight. There we go. All right. So when you moving?
So we got the key to the house this past weekend, but then officially moving end of next month, like they're full time. I just have to keep working at my job until the end of next month. So, and I work in DC, so lots of, it would be too long of a commute to be up in Lancaster and drive down.
So that's got to be like a really hard thing to move that far apart, because we moved like 6 years ago, but we only moved like 17 miles. Like our house was 17 miles apart, and that was a nightmare. I can't imagine the state.
It was definitely, I think, worse when we were moving down here, because like we don't have any family down here, so we just like hired movers, and that was just expensive and just a lot. But at least now, like we're just kind of loading things up in smaller trips, and then like family, friends, like they're just meeting us there and helping us to move the big stuff in, which is really nice.
That's good. Yeah. We had a small house, right? We had this house isn't very much bigger, but it's just in a better area than our old house, like in a really bad neighborhood. But this house isn't very much bigger, but we actually got everything we had in one big moving truck. So we drove it like to the place where we closed our, did the closing papers and stuff. Like drove it, left it in the parking lot, signed the papers, and drove out here, and whole family followed us. We have a great family. My wife's family is awesome. We all followed out, and everybody just grabbed stuff off the truck. And that was it. But man, it was a long day. Oh my gosh, like setting up the beds and everything. And oh my gosh, I was like, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
So let's get after it here. So let's see. Here's run 2690. Mute my phone here. All right. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2690 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope all the moms out there had a great weekend this past weekend here in the Midwest. I'm telling you what, Mother Nature came through clutch, great weather. So hopefully everybody got to get out there and, let mom relax. Didn't have mom chasing dishes or doing anything. Maybe mom just got to get out there and play some wiffle ball with the kids, or maybe just sit around and just do whatever she wanted to do. So if you're a mom and you're listening to our show today, thank you for being awesome. And just hope you had a great weekend. We appreciate you. And one more time, I got to say this to our teachers, because we are in that final stretch. White knuckle time for the teachers. I mean, in the back of my head, because remember, I was there for 17 years. I got out because I was weak. I could not handle it like some of the other teachers in our audience that are just, they go back year after year after year and do this. And I love you for that. You're tougher than I am. We're in mid-May at this point. This is the time where I hear Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone like playing it. You may as well be flying an F-18 at Mach 2 at this point with your hair, like they say in Top Gun, like with your hair on fire, because that is the stretch you are in to get to the finish line. You can make it, but man, you are in the danger zone. But we're all behind you. Love on those kids. Get them out the door, and just keep your sanity. So hang in there, teachers. You'll get down to Walt Disney World or Disneyland or on your cruise shortly. We're with you. But today, we're going to give you a trip report. We're going to take you to Walt Disney World virtually, and we're going to have a fun trip. I mean, this trip is, I'm dying to talk about it because this trip's got a little bit of everything. I mean, it's got 4 parks in one day. It's got a little hurricane. It's got a little hospital visit. It's skull and everything. So strap in. Here we go. Allie's joining us from out in Virginia today, but soon she's going to be back in Pennsylvania. Allie, thanks for joining us today. What's going on?
Hey, I am so excited to be here. I've been listening for a few years now, so it's a little bit like I'm starstruck right now. So
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
excited.
I'm clipping that for my wife because she's always like, shut up.
It
I
was fun hearing like one of the little intros live. That was so cool.
Oh my gosh. See, I tell my wife, like when we're eating dinner, I'm like, Pam, you're like getting the ultimate Patreon show right now, and you don't have to pay for it. She's like, dude, I pay for it all my life. She's like, can I pay more to just have you? I'm like, no, you signed up for this. So anyway, no, I'm glad to have you on the show. We're gonna have a great time, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. And I, by the way, love the. I've never seen those ears there with Mickey and Minnie. Are those custom?
Great. So yeah, you can they have these at the parks now. You can just customize them. They've got a bunch of different characters. I think they started out in Tokyo. I could be wrong, but they're over at least Walt Disney World and I think Disneyland as well now. So you can customize, get different characters, and just plop them on the headbands and just
awesome.
Mix and match them. So I decided to go with the OGs.
I like it. I mean, most of our audience is audio, so we're just, ears. We got Mickey and Minnie there, but you could always. This is a good chance. Hey, everybody, check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/BRGuest podcast. Subscribe and like. Scott's always, talking about his YouTube channel. We need subscribers too, people. Let's go. So like and subscribe, I guess. I mean, it's not super exciting to see me, but see our guests. Anyway, let me ask you the breaking news. We found out today as of the recording of this show, because we recorded, the week before so we can get it out on time on Monday over the weekend. We found out that Disney all of a sudden dropped a little bomb news on us that they're going to build another Disney resort, and it's going to be in Abu Dhabi over in the Middle East. Did you hear that news today? I'm sure
Yes.
Disney heard it. So what are you thinking when you heard this? Because I mean, this kind of came out of the blue for most people, I think. I mean, excitement, curious. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely I was surprised to see it for sure. But I think it's great. I mean, the more Disney we can get around the world, the better. I definitely am, as I'm sure a lot of big Disney fans like us, want to visit all the different parks around the world. So this is just, once it opens up, another one to check off the list once that opens up. And I'm excited to see what kind of different attractions they have that might eventually be able to come stateside like they did with Tron. So yeah, I'm excited. I think, of course, selfishly, would love to see more at Walt Disney World and even Disneyland, but we're getting tons over the next couple of years. So they'll be exciting. And it's in a place where, there's not a lot of Disney. So tap into some new markets, let some people who maybe can't get out and travel to, parts of the world that have Disney right now to be able to experience Disney vacations down the road.
I'm right with you. You said almost exactly all the things I've been thinking over the past, 18 hours since the news dropped as we're recording. And, it's one of those things that I kind of wish that, at first I was selfishly saying, there's so much more domestically that can be done, but they're a business, Disney's a business. And I think because the stock shot up immediately. And I think, they're not investing a ton of money. They're investing a lot of intellectual capital with the Imagineering and stuff like that. So that, that's something. But like you said, new development over in foreign parks could always come right back to us, to our domestic parks and stuff like that. I mean, I'm honest with myself. Will I get to international parks in my lifetime? Probably not. I'm just not a person who is a big international traveler. I might, not saying I won't, but I'm not saying I will either. I mean, I probably won't see this park in my lifetime, but I could, but it doesn't hurt me in any way to have it there. And like you said, Disney's a company, and it gives an opportunity to open up more opportunity for folks in that part of the world to experience the Disney brand and get to see characters and stuff like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I think they said at least 5 years before anything gets going there. So we'll see. I just hope it. The only thing I think everybody's worried about is that it robs the resources that we need, because there's a lot of stuff that does need to be done here at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. And, we need to make sure that you're not robbing things here to go there. But I mean, in the 80s, they did this in Tokyo and everything's still, I don't know. We'll see. I think it'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine. All right. So let me get your backstory though, as far as when it comes to your Disney fandom. So is this something like all the way through childhood, something later in life, and what's like your family? What's your little Disney backstory here?
Yeah, so I was like bitten by the Disney bug pretty early. I went on my first trip when I was 2 years old with my family. And that was in 2000. And then growing up, we went, I would say, like probably about every other year for about 10 years or so. And then we didn't, and like we were always doing Walt Disney World. And then for the next 10 years, as my siblings and I were getting a little bit older, we weren't going into the parks quite as much. We did like a land and sea trip in the middle there and went on another Disney cruise. And in 2018, I had the opportunity. I was studying abroad in Paris, so I went to Disneyland Paris a few times while I was there, which was just the most amazing thing. Got to spend my birthday there, which was a lot of fun. But then 2020, we were like, okay, we're kind of getting back into the groove of Disney. Like a lot of people, that trip got postponed to 2021. But ever since then, I've been back to some sort of Disney destination every year since. A lot of it with my family. Like this trip was whole entire immediate family. But my sister and I got out to Disneyland in 2023 for the first time. Well, she had been, but my first time at Disneyland, and like the way you talk about it, Mike, yeah.
Okay, let me stop you there because that's super interesting because you went to Paris and got to go to Disneyland Paris and you got to go to experience world many times, cruise a little bit, and you didn't get to Disneyland until 2023. My first trip was in 2022 after probably 25-30 trips to world, right? I just never went, and God, it hit me. So tell me about, just real quick, because I want to talk about the Caribbean beach trip with the family and stuff, but this podcast is just about telling stories. I mean, that's really what Mondays are about. It's about telling stories. And I want to hear real quick, what was it like to get, I mean, because it really all started at Disneyland and you'd had all, just like me. I mean, I'd had cruises and I hadn't gone to the international parks or anything, but I'd had all these Disney cruises and all these Walt Disney World experiences, races, and, all 4 parks and all these tours at Walt Disney World. But then I got to go to Disneyland. I'm like, why did I wait 20 years to do this? I mean, what was your feelings and what were your initial thoughts out there?
Yeah, I mean, so that trip, it was just me and my sister, and it was when like I walked on Main Street for the first time, I got emotional. I did look at the castle and I was like, oh, like it's kind of small compared to what we're used to at World. But I like definitely like just like felt emotional like walking down Main Street. I think it was on today's listener question show. I forget. I think like you were talking about like just kind of walking like where like Walt walked and stuff like that. Like it just you can like really feel it, which is cool. And we did the Walt's Main Street story tour, so got to go into his apartment and everything like that. And it was just really emotional. And the rides out there are amazing. And like you talk about, the characters are just kind of out and about so much more, which just like it feels like you're in a commercial. Like it is just so insanely fun. And the attractions are so, even the ones that there are overlap between Walt Disney World and Disneyland, like they're so different in some ways. And so that's just really cool. It was, I can't wait to get back there. I loved it.
So what were a couple of your what was your couple of your favorite attractions and maybe like a dining spot or just a snack or something? Like, because it's always funny to see like what people that have all this world experience like take away as their favorite things at land.
Yeah, so the Indiana Jones attraction, like my favorite far and away. I cannot wait until some sort of iteration of that gets to Animal Kingdom in a couple of years. So that definitely, and then the Mission Breakout at event on Avengers Campus was just so much fun, and Incredicoaster probably as well. Really enjoyed those. And then food wise, so we didn't do any like sit down dining. We got like some of the classics, and like got a corn dog and a ton of churros. We ate so many churros.
Everybody's got it. I mean, it's like a disease out there. Everybody's got churro, either churro, hot dog, or corn. People got something in their hand.
They're so great. But there's this little stand right outside Mission Breakout, and they have these things called little cosmic orbs. And they're just like, they're these little puff pastries. They're filled with, I think it's like ube or something. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's some sort of like filling that's purple and it's got some chocolate in it too. I went through way too many of those on our short trip. They were so good, and I still dream about them.
See, I gotta give you a bell. I didn't have the bell ready, but here's the thing. That's why we do these Monday shows. Somebody right now is listening like, I'm going to Disneyland next week, and now I'm going by Mission Breakout and getting a cosmic orb. See, I didn't even know about that. It's like you walk past these things and you don't even realize that they're there. And that's exactly, maybe they'll be there, maybe they won't. Who knows? But hey, That's why we do these shows. We talk about these great things. Yeah. So, but it is so fun to discover those things. And I love Disneyland because as a world fan, right? It's familiar enough, but you're still discovering, oh, I went the wrong way a little bit here. And it's new discovery. It's weird. It's like the Astro Orbiter right on the ground as right there off Main Street. It's like the thing's right there where, like, it's in the hub, basically. It's so bizarre, but it's bizarrely awesome. Like, and I even ride, like we rode the Casey Jr. train, and
oh yeah.
I mean, but you're a kid there. Like the little the Storybook Canal boats are one of my favorite things. God, they're so cute. It's awesome. I love it. So let's talk about this trip though. You went to Caribbean Beach with your whole crew. So how did this trip come together that we're going to talk about tonight? Like, tell us about like how you decided to put this trip together.
Yeah, so kind of like I said, once, getting into like the 2020s, my family decided that we're going to go a little bit more frequently. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that I've got nieces now. And so just wanting to make those memories with them when they're young. So for this trip in particular, in 2020, we were supposed to stay at Caribbean Beach Resort. So I think that's kind of how we came up with that as our resort for this trip. In 2021, we ended up doing Animal Kingdom Lodge instead, which no complaints there. But wanted to do Caribbean Beach Resort. We had never stayed on the Skyliner before, so that was something we were really pumped about. And then we chose the last full week of September because during that week, we have a lot of September birthdays in my family. So during that week, we were hitting my youngest niece's second birthday, my sister-in-law's birthday, my dad's birthday, and then just 2-3 weeks after we got home, my oldest niece, she turned 5. So we were going to be able to celebrate all 4 of their birthdays on that trip. So it's kind of a no-brainer for picking that week, despite it being super hot. It was definitely a good week for us to go, just kind of for that, just knowing that we'd be able to celebrate so much.
That's good. And also, I mean, crowd-wise, was it okay? I mean, it's probably one of the.
Yeah.
It used to be that there were slower times. It's not so much anymore, but I mean, the end of September, probably one of the lower times still for Walt Disney World.
Yeah, it was definitely like pretty low wait times. I mean, for the most part, we've done like Thanksgiving week, which is like a madhouse. But like we get through it. But yeah, I mean, this week, we definitely we didn't feel the need for lightning lanes at all. So we didn't do any sort of multi-pass, single pass, anything like that. And yeah, sure, like you said, there's no real like downtime anymore at the parks, but relatively like low crowds, I would say.
So with your crew, let's talk about Caribbean Beach. I mean, Skyliner Resort, so that's kind of the biggest perk of it. Location. But like rooms, dining on site, the pool for the kids and for you. I mean, for every adults, I love the pool too. I mean, rate the resort as far as like expectations and how they met it.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely rate it pretty high. So growing up, we would always stay at the value resorts. And then once my first niece came along, my parents were like, we can do a deluxe, which is
I know, for real, dude. I mean, like it was, my whole life, it was Six Flags for me and my kids. My kids been on, Valerie's platinum on Disney Cruise Line. I'm like, something's wrong with this picture. I barely got to go to Six Flags.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but we absolutely loved the resort. We were in 2 conjoining rooms. So my parents, my sister and I were in one room. My brother and his family were in the connecting room, which was great. We were out in Martinique, so it was very easy to just walk on over to the Riviera, which was definitely a perk. We definitely used their Skyliner station a good bit and even their buses, which was really nice. But yeah, I mean, we definitely, growing up, didn't use, I feel like, the resorts as much. We're just very much park people. Like, we just want to be there, rope drop until, the fireworks show. And we took more time, I would say, on this trip to really enjoy the resort. So we spent afternoon or evening at the pool the one day, which was just a ton of fun. The slides were so much fun. And then we went to, I think it's called Centertown Market, maybe, like the dining location there. And oh my gosh, the food there's so good. And I got this huge platter with just a bunch of different meats on it. And it kind of was one quick service credit because we had the quick service meal plan. And I was like, I don't know how this thing is just one credit. I felt like I was making out like a bandit. It was great. So food was great. The pool was so much fun. The rooms were nice. I mean, definitely nothing to complain about there. Definitely really, really enjoyed Caribbean Beach, and obviously Skyliner access just, I feel like, can't be beat. I feel like I can't go back.
And the key to being at Caribbean Beach or the Riviera, I mean, adjoining that, is that you're at the hub of the Skyliner. So you miss that one extra hop that you have from like, Art of Animation and Pop Century. Like in Pop and Art, you gotta take it over to Caribbean Beach and transfer. Where when you're at Caribbean Beach or the Riv, you just go where you gotta go. So that's
Yeah.
kind of the key. It's kind of nice. It's not such a big deal unless you're like, park drop or rope dropping something.
Mm.
But that's interesting. So now you're down there in September celebrating all these birthdays. How are you? Like, what's your? Because you're obviously a huge, what's going on. Like you're a theme park person. You guys always in the parks. So how did you lay out the plans as far as like what you wanted to do for the time you were there? You're going to do 4 parks in one day, but like global, like from the 30,000 foot perspective before you got there, how'd you decide like what you wanted to do?
So I feel like we were a little bit more go with the flow this trip than we have been in years past. We had park hopper, so we knew that would obviously just give us a lot of flexibility. But as far as like reservations and stuff like that, we only did one ADR at Topolino's one morning. So that was great, but the rest of the time we kind of just do whatever. So we just kind of played most days by ear. A lot of our days would kind of be dependent since the virtual queues were still up. We would wake up right away in the morning. Every morning we would get a virtual queue for either Cosmic Rewind or Tiana's. And that would kind of dictate where we would start our day because we were always within the first like 25 boarding groups. So we knew like, okay, we have to, start at that park. But the ahead of time planning, I feel like we didn't do quite as much this year because we just kind of like just went with it. Which we knew we would need that flexibility with having 2 younger kids. Sometimes we have to go back, and take some time to like let them nap and stuff like that. So this was somewhat relaxed as far as a Disney Parks trip can go.
It should be. I mean, honestly, it should be. And I'm glad we're kind of past those virtual queues at this point. It's so ironic, though. I mean, the irony right now of that at Walt Disney World, we're kind of, excluding things like Run Disney, like merchandise and, merchandise drops like for like, the May the 5th over Hollywood Studios and so forth. Right now, at least we're in a period with no virtual queues. But then Epic Universe is going to be all about, virtual queue experience over there. It's like we can't escape it in Central Florida. It's like a sock with a hole in it or something. It's like it keeps coming back and is bugging you. It's like your toe has to poke out the sucker or something. It can't get away from it. So give us some thoughts in the theme parks. Like what were some highlights? Like maybe what did the kids enjoy? What maybe did something scare them? You mentioned Cosmic Rewind. Was that a hit for y'all? What did you guys think?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So my sister and I got to ride it a couple years ago. But it was during like the Run Run Rocket like Christmas overlay, which I know Scott has talked about.
I know he's a hater on that thing.
Yeah, we did not really love that. Definitely so much more enjoyable with like the regular set list. And actually, so our first day there was September 21st, so 21st night of September.
Oh.
And we know that like they play it all the time, but we got in, so like we flew into Disney, we got into Epcot by 1 p.m., signed up for the virtual queue. We got a boarding group number, but that ride was down all day. So we didn't end up getting to ride. So we were so bummed out. But then the next morning we went on, we got September right off the bat.
Thank God.
So that was great. And my oldest niece,
that's my if I'm gonna ride, and I did get to ride it with that song. So I've life goal achieved. I'm not going on it again. So
yeah, that's like in my opinion the best song for it. But yeah, my oldest niece Quinn, she was tall enough to ride, and like she rode it, she loved it. So definitely like even young kid approved. And yeah, my siblings and I all loved it too. Sometimes we would hack the system a little bit because we would sign my parents up for the virtual queue as well and then just take their magic bands. So
we've all done that. You have mine. You use mine. Yeah. If I don't have to write it, take it.
Yeah, so that one was like definitely hit. But then funny enough, Tiana's with my oldest niece wasn't quite so much because she didn't like getting wet. So for that one we did ride with her.
I'm with her. That's why I haven't been on it yet, because I've been there twice since it's been open, and both times it's been cold. And I'm like, I don't want to get wet. I'm just, I mean, it's been really chilly the 2 times. I'm like, man.
September, it wasn't cold in the slightest. Okay, so we were drying off really easily after riding. But I personally like loved the attraction. I think they did such a nice job with it. but yeah, we were gonna let her ride again since we did rider swap for it, and she was like, "No, I don't want to do that again."
She's a
We're like,
princess, basically. I mean, it's passenger princess, as we would say.
yeah,
This, yeah, don't get me wet.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those like the two, I guess, newer like those were hits. We got on Tron. That was all of our first time doing Tron. I really loved it. I think some other family members like maybe were. I think my brother thought it was like too short, if I'm remembering correctly. But I know my sister and I really, really enjoyed it.
It's perfect length because I love it. I mean, it is short. It is short, but
Mhm.
I mean, I'm older now. That's fine. Like it's good. It gives me a thrill, and I'm like, okay, we're good. Thank you. Yeah, Cosmic Rewind. It's too long. Too long. Please let me off. And I'll get. I can't believe I'm getting to this. Like I used to do. Like want that thing to be 10 minutes long and take me all the way from Epcot to the Magic Kingdom and back, and I'm just screaming, turn it off. But yeah, that's just where I am in life. It's sad. It's like I got to wear glasses now. I didn't have to wear glasses 5 years ago. It's just a horrible thing. So let's talk about some other stuff though, because we can jump back into the theme parks, but we've got so much to talk about. So you guys, you were down there. Now you were down there during Hurricane Helene, which obviously wreaked havoc, and it's still, people are still recovering down, in the Carolinas and so forth from this hurricane. I mean, it's May of 2025 at this point. We're still thinking of those folks that are suffering the after effects. But I mean, you guys were there when this was passing, over Florida and so forth. What effects did that have on your vacation when you were down there? Like, was there buzz happening, and then how did it affect your vacation?
Yeah, so I mean, there was definitely conversation. So one of my really good friends is actually a meteorologist down in Orlando now, and we met up with him earlier in the trip. So I think that the hurricane hit on a Thursday, and we met up I think like Monday or Tuesday. So I was talking with him a little bit about it, and so just kind of getting the lay of the land, for like what they were seeing on the storm tracking systems and stuff that he uses back at the station. And so just from that, and then obviously just watching a lot of the weather and stuff like that back in our rooms, we we figured, okay, like we weren't gonna let it completely like rain out our day. So that morning we decided to rope drop Animal Kingdom, and the park felt like a ghost town. It was great. And thankfully it really didn't, like, yeah, sure, there were a few downpours, but it didn't feel, much different than, maybe aside from it being windier than usual during some rainstorms, it didn't feel too much different. So thankfully it didn't, logistically affect the trip all that much. And if anything, we were able to get through lines a little bit more quickly. But even like Everest being outdoors, we were able to get on that day, I think. And we went on the Cali River Rapids, which we were like,
Well, I mean, hey, if you're going to be in a bunch of rain, I mean, why not? Exactly.
yeah, we're wet already, so that was great. And then I think it was that day too, we did the Feathered Friends in Flight, which I know last week's trip report, they were talking about that as well. That's like the greatest thing ever.
We're going to fill that theater up. I mean, it's just the show in the last month.
It's so good. And the little kind of like snack hack right next to that theater, I think that this is the only place on Disney property, at least to my knowledge, that you can get this. They have these Mickey ice cream ears, and they dip them in like this blue raspberry sauce and then cover them in sprinkles. It is the best sweet treat ever.
Okay, so everybody's writing this down. Okay, Animal Kingdom snack. Here you go. We got the one out of DCA. So there's your snack out there by Mission Guardians right out there. Now you got the one at Animal Kingdom. Two awesome secret snacks.
I thought that it was just for the 50th anniversary because that was the first time we saw it.
Yeah, that's the color that they use.
Exactly. Yeah. It was like and I think like they called it like iridescent Mickey's or something like that. Anyways,
I hope it's not left over from that. God, that was 2021.
Fingers crossed. But yes. But when we went up and we saw that they had those, we're like, give us just the whole thing. I think we like ordered one for everyone. They're so good.
That's awesome. But yeah, it was kind of a glancing blow for Orlando with that one. So, but I mean, it did affect a lot of stuff. So I just wonder because, you got to be weather aware when you're down in Florida. And, I mean, it's crazy. Like hurricane season starts here again soon I mean, not trying to freak everybody else out that's got a vacation coming up, but I mean, it's got to be weather aware. I mean, you could be, you can take cruises in September and go to Walt Disney World in September and be fine. I mean, Pam said this many times, and it's true. The people on the coast in Florida, whenever there is a hurricane, they evacuate to Walt Disney World because of the infrastructure that is in place there. It's centrally located, it's safe, and they got great infrastructure. So it's a good place to be. Now, did they shut anything down on you guys at all when you were there?
Not like nothing that I noticed. I do know that that night there was supposed to be a Mickey's Not So Scary party, and that did get rained out. But yeah, so that's the only thing that like I know. But obviously, I don't think like fireworks shows were happening. But we only did Animal Kingdom that day, and then we left relatively early and finished off the night having some dinner at Primo Piatto. So we were indoors, and I got a croque monsieur. Don't worry.
Gosh, good stuff. Oh my gosh, good stuff. I could kill. I just ate dinner, but man, I could probably still handle one of those. I could take one for the team right now. I haven't had one of those in probably a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm staying at the Riv on my next trip, and I'm going to go through several of those.
That's the reason. I mean, that is worth the extra cost to upgrade to the Riviera. Just go down there and have one of those. I'm going down to for a thing with the travel agency in 3 weeks. I'm meeting up Pam Forster. Couple days, we're staying at the Contemporary. I might just have to wander over to the Riv just for that sole reason. Definitely. Like, why are you at the Riviera? I don't know. She knows. Anyway,
if Pam can figure it out by now.
Pam Forster knows why I'm at the Riviera. Why are you at Primo Piatto? Oh, you know. So now 4 parks in one day, because so you were having some back issues, but this was before the back issues that you had?
This was after.
Oh my God, what are you doing? Okay, so let's talk about the back issues. Okay, so we've had a hurricane, because I've kind of teased it, the hurricane and hospital visit. Yeah. So you had back issues, and this got worse and landed you with a trip to the ERs where it started or something. Because trust me, I've had back issues that have been laid me up one time for 3 weeks. So I totally get it. So tell us about it.
So leading up to the trip, like a couple of months before the trip, I started having some back issues, and I have a history of some back issues. But I had a slip disc in my lower back, which was just causing a lot of pain, pinching the sciatic nerve, so causing a lot of pain down my leg. And so I'd obviously been, I tried everything except for surgery at that point, going to physical therapy, taking just a bunch of different medications, even getting like an injection and stuff like that.
That's by the way, just real quick, that's what got it for me. It was that injection right into the spinal column.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did that. It did not help me at all. It was really unfortunate. So going into the trip, I knew I was going to have to take it easy, which rider swap was like the best thing ever, because I could just stay out with my younger niece while everyone else was waiting and standing in line, and then I could go through Lightning Lane, which was really nice. But about halfway through our trip, and thankfully this ended up on our like one kind of, I say rest day loosely. We had tickets for the Halloween party that night, but our like relative rest day is when I just started getting more symptoms with it. So I was messaging my doctor back home, and he was like, I need you to go to the ER right now. So my dad went with me to the ER, and then they ended up admitting me, and, MRI, all that fun stuff. And then I unfortunately needed to stay overnight, which was the biggest bummer.
No kidding. I mean, it's never a good idea, but you're like, wait, whoa, I'm in Orlando. I'm in Walt Disney World. Come on now. Like, can I get a pill?
Yeah. So it was really just because they needed to wait for the neurosurgeons to come back in to review everything to see if I needed surgery right away. But thankfully they came in the next morning, said that I did not need surgery. So I was out of there and back in the parks by 1 p.m. that day.
See what it is. They know you, and they're like, if we keep her here, what we're doing is we're keeping her off of Cosmic Rewind. Like exactly. It's basically like a jail cell. Like we're involuntarily locking you away from Cosmic Rewind or Expedition Everest because we know it's too big of a temptation for somebody that rolls in Mickey ears. That's what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. So I did end up getting this surgery a couple weeks after coming home, and thankfully everything's been great since, for the most part. But yeah, that definitely put a little bit of a damper on the trip. But I feel like it didn't slow me down all that much because we were still in the parks doing miles and miles a day.
You are insane. That is crazy.
The
I just
adrenaline kept me going.
they like held you, and then you're like, okay. After that, we did 4 parks in one day. I don't even do 4 parks in one day because it's crazy. The only time I do it once a year. I do it during the marathon, and I
Okay.
hate it. Like the
Yeah.
only reason I do it is because I get a medal and I get Mickey ears at the end when I finish, and I get a box of goodies. That's the only. And I hate it every time until I see the finish line. Then I'm like, oh, that was kind of fun. Like, let's do that again next year, but let's wait 365 days before we ever try that again because that was like dumb. But so I can't believe you did that after that though. Holy smokes! Like they admitted you for the MRIs. Oh, because I've been there, man. I know because I had the same sciatic thing, and man, I remember they're like, we're gonna do this injection into your spine. I'm like, you're gonna do what? But at that point, I did not care because I couldn't even walk. But yeah, I was with you. So the 4 parks in one day thing. So tell us, like, what did you learn? What was unexpected? What was fun about that? Because Trisha's doing that when she goes down for the podcast cruise the day before we sail. A lot of people do this. A lot of people are crazy out there. Share. What do you think?
Yeah. So basically, so my sister-in-law, for her birthday, she just wanted to do 4 parks one day. Now that was the day that I was released from the hospital, so I was not getting through 4 parks in one day.
No kidding. Yeah, let me pick you up from the hospital. Okay, now we're doing 4 parks in a day. I'm like, what?
I did 3 parks that day by not getting.
What are you doing?
But so my brother, his wife, and my 2 nieces, they all did 4 parks one day on my sister-in-law's birthday, which was really exciting for them. But then my sister and I decided to do it a little bit later in the trip. And so I'm trying to think. We started at Epcot because my sister's obsessed with Cosmic Rewind, so she got a virtual queue for that ride every single day, except for one day when we all did Tiana's as a family. She would even like just solo, just like go to Epcot by herself and ride it. But we started there. And then I'm trying to think. I think that we went to the studios next. No, we went to Magic Kingdom next. Sorry, we took the monorail to Magic Kingdom. So we were in and out of the studios or out of Epcot super early, which was nice. We just rode Cosmic Rewind and then headed right on over to MK, and that's where we spend most of the day. Got in a lot of Fantasyland since my dad stayed with me at the hospital. So the two of us didn't get to do the Halloween party. So there were just certain attractions at Magic Kingdom that we didn't get to do yet that the rest of the family had. So we went to kind of like Haunted Mansion, Peter Pan's Flight, stuff like that. So we were able to knock those out that day. And then we went to Animal Kingdom because we really wanted to do dinner at Satuli Canteen. Those little like cheeseburger pods are like one of my favorite things. They're so good. And then we also figured that if we went there a little bit later, because obviously Animal Kingdom closes far too early, we figured that if we kind of got in line for Flight of Passage a little bit later, like sooner, a little bit before closing, by the time that we got out of Flight of Passage, we would be able to walk through Pandora at night. Because in the summer, obviously, sun's not going down for a while. So like the park is still bright by the time it closes, but it was starting to get dark by the time that we got off the attraction. So we got to see Pandora at night, which was so much fun. And then we ended the night at Hollywood Studios because Fantasmic is just my favorite thing ever. So I ended the night at Fantasmic. I watched that with my dad that night, which was just a ton of fun.
So your dad went around with you for for the whole day?
No. So my sister and I were the only two that did all 4 parks that day. Everyone else kind of, I think that my mom and dad met up with us at Magic Kingdom. And then my brother and his family, they were with us since Epcot and then dipped out before Hollywood Studios.
That's cool. That's cool though. You guys kind of got to, mesh throughout the day. And it's awesome because your dad stuck with you there through the hospital stay and, you missed out on the, it's a bummer that you missed out on the Halloween party, but you kind of got to make up for it in this way. You can't make up for the, the party that you missed, but this is a great kind of substitute for it. It's a great story.
I will say too, just like a little tip for people, if unfortunately something like that happens, Disney was great about refunding our tickets, even though I know like in the fine print it says non-refundable. We talked with cast members at a resort and just kind of explained the situation. And they said, hey, go to any guest relations tent or like, you know, one of the blue umbrellas or like at the front of the parks at any of the at any of the theme parks, and they'll be able to take care of you. And we ended up going to a guest relations spot at Animal Kingdom, and they refunded us both my ticket and my dad's ticket, which was really nice of them. So that was nice. Our hope would have been to have, you know, gone to the party a different night. We were trying to see if we could maybe just transfer our ticket to a different night, but especially since the hurricane rained out one of the other parties that week, that just wasn't going to happen. But at the very least, got the money back, which was nice.
Yeah, that is nice because I mean, they, you know, when you buy the tickets, they're always like they're non-refundable, non-transferable. But you know, in extenuating circumstances like that, I'm glad that they chose the right, you know, option there, because you obviously that was out of your hands and you're there, so that's great that they did that. Now, let me ask you this: like, when you did the 4 parks thing, are you the kind of person that like documents that, so you have some kind of like, did you shoot video? Like, what'd you do? Because I would think that that's something you'd want to, like, you know, have documentation of. Did you do anything like that?
Yeah, I took a picture in front of each of the park icons. Didn't video anything. I don't think I videoed anything, but just, yeah, a picture in front of each of the park icons that day, just to kind of commemorate that I was there at each of the 4 parks on that day.
Nice. And you mentioned you did Topolino's to celebrate a birthday, right, for your niece. So, I mean, people, I've only been there a couple times for dinner. How was that celebration? Everybody enjoy Topolino's?
Yeah, that was great. So we did that the Tuesday morning of our trip, which was my youngest niece's birthday, but then we also just celebrated all 4 birthdays during that meal. So we were a party of 8, if I'm doing the math correct. Yeah, we were a party of 8. Oh my gosh, I can't do math. And so we did we couldn't get a reservation for 8 when the 60-day mark hit. But we decided to do, my mom booked a 4-person reservation, I booked a 4-person reservation. So once we got up to Topolino's, we just went up to the cast members to check in, and we said, hey, we have these 2 separate reservations for 4 people. If there's any way that we can sit like close to each other, like that would be great, if you guys are able to swing that. And then at that time too, we also ordered one of those Mickey cakes with a little happy birthday message on it as well, which was great. But then, yeah, once they called our party, we ended up at a big, huge table that fit all 8 of us, which was fantastic and definitely not like what we expected. And I'm sure that doesn't happen every single time, but if you've got a larger party and you can't find a reservation, try splitting it up. And I think we booked like maybe like 5 minutes apart for a reservation. So just keep it close to the time and they might be able to work some magic. But yeah, the dining experience was great. That was all of our first time there. The little pastries that they bring out are so good. Everyone, I think, really enjoyed the meal, and all the characters there, like their costumes and everything, are just one of my favorites, I think, now. Their little get-ups are just so cute.
And see, you made up for Scott's liking you again because he didn't like the Rudolph. Well, you said you didn't like that either, so you're still on the same page because Scott loves Topolino's. That's his favorite place. And now you got me really. I think I need to go. I discovered there's a place in town. Now it's down the other end of town. Actually the next town over. They have it right on the front. It's a coffee shop. They sell beignets. We passed it going to Texas Roadhouse last Saturday night. One of Mallory's friends works in that coffee shop. So I'm going to talk to Mallory and see like if her friend could hook us up with some beignets like at the end of the night, maybe half price or something.
Yeah.
Like beignets in like at home, that could be dangerous.
I know.
Those around because now you're talking about pastries and puffs and all this. You're killing me right now. I need sweets. I need to be at a Disney park. Speaking of that, as we kind of wrap up your trip, do you have anything on the horizon? Like, blue sky and something, or do you have something in the works? What you got going next?
Yeah, I've got a trip to book in August, staying at the Riviera. This one's going to be very different. It's just my boyfriend and me. And we're staying in one of the Tower Studios. So I'm really interested to see, because I know those are really
see that because I mean they look cute, right? I mean, like I wouldn't want to live in one, but I think it'd be fun to stay in one for a few nights.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I think it'll be, a fine enough amount of space. I'm excited for the free water park day because I've never done any of the water parks. So we're actually flying in a day early is our plan. and then spend the night with our friend who lives down there, so we can check in right away in the morning and get to a water park right away. But yeah, I'm really excited. It'll just be a week in August. The Riviera is like my dream resort, so I'm just so excited to stay there.
You get along well with Mallory, my youngest, because she's always like, "We gotta stay at the Riv, Dad." I'm like, "Nope, we're a Pop Century family, Mallory. We're not staying." She's bougie, and I'm like,
It's on the Skyliner too, so
It is on the Sky- but yeah, but we're staying at the other end of the Skyliner, Mallory. We're down at the value end of the Skyliner, and I tell her when she gets married and has a husband that makes $1 million, you can say Riviera. That's your jam. But when you're with this dad, we're Pop Century guys.
great.
I'll get her there.
That was so good. Yeah.
She's just like, she always picks Mallory has a knack. Like when we go anywhere, she can pick the most expensive thing anywhere we go. Like, which one do you like, Mallory? She always picks the most expensive thing. I don't know what it is about that. I guess it's like the youngest daughter syndrome or something. It's wild.
Me too. I'm the youngest, and I think I have that a little bit too.
It's unbelievable. I'm like, do you do that on purpose? Like how do you do that? Like there's no price tags there. Like, every time. I'm like, which hotel you like? The Riviera? I'm like, look, Caribbean Beach is really nice right there. It's got all the amenities. Skyliner is actually right in the middle there. No, like the Riviera is pretty. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's awesome. It's exactly. You're right. 100%. Yeah, no. I love her to death, but she does that with everything. I mean, it's unbelievable, but yeah, gotta love her. She's your daughter. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, the Tower Studios though super intrigue me, and but you've never been to a water park. So let me ask you this: okay, the $1 million question before we wrap up. Say both water parks would be open, and I think they will be in August. Yeah, it's before they close in September. Which one are you gonna pick?
Okay, so here's the thing. So we had picked Blizzard Beach, but then I was listening to the listener questions episode today. Both like hyping up Typhoon Lagoon. And I'm like, should we do Typhoon Lagoon instead? I don't think that we could go wrong either way. So we'll have to see. Right now the plan is Blizzard Beach, but I've got a trip report already booked for that one. So
good.
Far tease ahead. You'll have to tune in at the end of August to see which water park to pick.
And so would you do Summit Plummet? Are you that?
Oh, yeah. I will do that. My boyfriend won't.
You have back surgery. You're going to do Summit. You're okay. Now I'm being a dad here. You have back surgery and you're going to go down this Summit Plummet that shoots you like 60 miles an hour on a sheet of water. Come on now.
I had back surgery so I can do Summit.
Okay, that's a good point. So you can live life. I mean,
exactly.
It is fast. I used to do that back in the day. I probably still would do it again, given the right circumstances. Like after Cinco de Mayo or something, I could probably do it. But I'd do it one time and be like, what am I doing? It's wild though. But so what is that why you picked? I'm always curious about these kind of things. Like, why did you pick Blizzard Beach over time?
I think that well, we watch little like YouTube videos of both. And I think like part of it is just like Blizzard Beach, just like the theming just like seemed just so fun and out there. The little like ski lift and stuff like that. Like where else are you riding a ski lift in Florida?
That's true.
So they're just like little things like that where I think that like that and like some of like the slides, even outside of Summit Plummet will just seem like a lot of fun.
You'll love it. Yeah, it is fun. It is. I mean, they're both a hoot. I mean, they're a hoot. The ski lift only gets you halfway to Summit Plummet, though. You gotta hoof it the second half. Because before I've been in there in like 15, 20 years, but I thought it took you all the way to the top, and I'm like, nope. You gotta get off, and then you gotta hoof it to the rest of the way. But it's so much fun. I'll have to post a picture. Paige was like 8 when I did this with her. She's 28 now, so yeah, it was a minute ago, but. You'll love it. Well, good to talk about it again. So, Allie, I appreciate your time. What a trip! And hey, let's say the next trip, no hurricane, no hospital visit. How about that?
Fingers crossed. Definitely, I feel pretty confident about no hospital visit, but going in August, I don't know about the hurricane.
I hear you, because I'm telling you, I was down there in August of 2004, Hurricane Charlie, Category 2, when it passed the eye of the storm, passed over Pop Century. My wife was in the bathtub talking to her mom. The winds were 100 miles an hour. When they came over Pop Century, the trees got ripped right out of the ground. It was wild. But I'm a weather nut, right? So I was like, holy cow, this is awesome. I called my co-teacher and I was standing outside. I was like, you want to know what a hurricane sounds like? Listen. But I'm not right. Like I shouldn't have been doing that. But I still like every time I go back, I'm like, that's the 70s building that I was standing on that balcony holding on like Jim Cantori in the eye of the storm. Like the wind was blowing so hard, Allie, I could not breathe. Like I always wondered about those weather people on TV, you know, they're out there like they're just playing it up for the shot, you know, they're just totally hamming it up. Nope. I was holding on to that rail. I'm like, I could seriously like blow right off this balcony right now. And I'm like, I can't breathe. I was like, Jane, oh, she's like, you okay? I'm like, I can't breathe. It's so windy. She's like, you better go inside. I'm like, but I want to feel the power. It's like a tornado, but it just doesn't stop. She's like, get off the phone. Anyway, we're going too long. So anyway, thank you for coming on the show. We'll do this again after the trip, and we'll find out how awesome Blizzard Beach is and those Tower Studios. I'm definitely excited to talk about that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, don't forget our show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney trip. Just help somebody today plan a trip to South Africa next year. It's going to be awesome. So just drop by the website today over at themagicforless.com. No additional cost to you, and you get concierge level service each and every time. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. When you click through that, it supports the show with each purchase. So thank you for that. And you can support the show on Patreon. Just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. We love it when you support us over there. Thanks to everybody who does that already. It is awesome. We can't thank you enough for that. So come on over to patreon.com/beourguestpodcasts. Give me a follow on social media at beourguestmike. I'm on x.com, Instagram, and Threads. And of course, we'll have a live show this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Give us a call on our new phone number. It should be working. So join us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, or Twitch. We'll be talking Disney with you. And finally, join us in the Be Our Guest Podcast Clubhouse. It's our Discord server. It's like a message board / live chat. We hang out 24/7, talk Disney, talk sports, talk life. So much fun. Just a ton of people hanging out. It's like a corner pub. It's like our little cheers. We're waiting for you. I'll give you a personal welcome when you drop in and just boom, you come in and you're in the welcome center. I say, hey, and you're part of the conversation. You're part of the club. So come on over, beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. All right, time to get out of here. And we'll be back again in about 48 hours for more of your listener questions. If you have a question, Mike at beourguestpodcast.com. Get on the show. So for Allie out in Virginia, for just a little bit more, I'm Mike here in Missouri. You guys have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Yeah, I can't believe you did that after the back thing. You are insane. That is wild. I mean, listen,
I've got to get like cool aunt status for sure.
I get it. I know I get it because I'm an uncle. I understand, but whew, man, Walt Disney World is just, I mean, Walt Disney World induces pain on the best of us. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's so much walking, and you know what gets me worse than the walking at Walt, any theme park is standing. Like if I'm walking, I'm fine. When I have to stand all day, I'm toast.
Yeah, well, and that's why I said like the rider swap was so great because like walking like around the parks wasn't like quite as bad, but like I knew standing in line was just like what would get me every time. Like if we were in the longer line, it was just tough.
Oh yeah, standing. I mean, like I say, if I'm moving, I'm good. Like I'm like running doesn't, like running's good for my back. Honestly, like I don't have back problems when I'm running, but yeah, when I just stand, like if I go to a place, I've done like things where I've had to just stand to do projects or something. And if I stand for 3 or 4 hours, like my back will be jacked up for like a day or two. Like my wife would be like, "What's wrong with you? Like you're walking around like grandpa." I'm like, stop. I'm old. I stood around for like 3 hours. I didn't move. Like I had to stand there. Quit making fun of me. Yeah, it's not good. Getting old is not for the weak. It's not pretty. Well, hey, I appreciate your time and have a great trip in August. If I don't talk to you, we'll talk again.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much. Bye.
Good luck with the move. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
All right, I will see you guys on Sunday for Mike in the Midwest and for the live call-in show. We got our new phone number. It should all be working out. I'm excited for that. So join us Sunday night, 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern. Till then, be cool.